Hey y'all, it's me Nina and I'm back with another video for this week. I am an urban educator, speaker, and blogger if you are new to this channel, and today I'm responding to a video that I'm super excited to talk about because when I saw the thread, I knew immediately that I wanted to be part of it, and the thread is the cost of being a teacher in New York City. And Too Cool for Middle School, and I think one other channel, Smartie Style, collaborated on this, and they're kind of hoping that a lot of other teachers will share what it's like. And I don't see a lot of New York City teachers out there, and it's very different if you're teaching in Long Island versus New York City versus New York or Ithaca, whatever. It's very different even within New York, and across the United States it's also really different. So I figured that today I would share with you about the cost of being in New York City, the cost of being a teacher in New York. So question one, and I'll put timestamps down below, so if you don't want to hear me ramble and talk about everything forever, you can just flip ahead. And I do have a playlist with all my teaching videos, so if you're interested in that content specifically, go check out the other ones. I have vlogs, I have Q&As, I have a lot of things, so go check that out if you'd like. But first,
what state do I live in?
And I live in New York, specifically New York City. I don't work in Manhattan. I work in one of the boroughs, but that's still considered New York City, even though apparently people from New York City don't consider that by definition a city, so whatever, New York City.
How many members are in your immediate household?
And for me, that is one, just me, all by myself. But to be honest, that's pretty helpful, you know.
Are you in a single or double income household?
I am in a single income household, and it definitely does have some downsides, especially in New York, because it is pretty costly and it's hard to live without roommates. And even for me, I want to eventually buy property, but it is very hard for me to wrap my head around how I can afford it with a single income. But I could definitely see, you know, if I was married, I think it'd be much more achievable.
Do I rent or own?
I rent, and as I mentioned a little earlier, I would love to own, but it would put a big strain on my lifestyle, and I actually don't spend a lot of money on rent according to New York standard. Of course, it'd be awesome to own right now because I've been renting for some time, but if I am being realistic about my life and my life goals and the freedom and autonomy I want with my money, I think that would be best to just wait a little longer.
What is my highest level of education? Does your educational level affect your pay in your district?
So I have my master's degree, and my pay does influence that. Pretty much in New York City, everyone has their master's. I'm not sure entirely why, but I don't know, it's not required per se, but everyone has it. And it does impact your pay. Your pay goes up a decent amount, I think a couple of thousand when you have your master's. And there's something called plus 30. And if you have plus 30, your income goes up again several thousands of dollars. And a personal goal of mine is to get that plus 30 ASAP, because the earlier you get it, the earlier you get that bump in your income. And essentially plus 30 is getting 30 credits of college credit, and that's essentially what you want.
How much did it cost for you to attain your degrees? And are you still paying for your education?
If I were to actually calculate this, I went to a CUNY school, and I'm actually gonna take out a calculator and see how much it cost. I was fortunate enough where my parents helped me out where they could, but they did not pay for everything. I dormed my first year, so that ended up being more than $18,000 because of interest and loans, and I don't even know what it really is, but that with the first year's tuition, that's $24,000. Then tuition was around $6,000 each year, so year 2, year 3, year 4. Then my master's degree was $14,000, and I did take out some money for living expenses. I'd say like $10,000 that year. It amounts to my master's and my undergrad amounted to $66,000 when I actually calculate it. I think that is actually accurate. I have $17,600 left, and I could pay that off. Not right now, I don't have that much sitting in my account. I guess we're getting really intimate here, but I am working towards paying that off. My goal is to apply for loan forgiveness, which I'm eligible for at the end of next year. And while I'm waiting for that, I have my emergency fund, which is enough for 3 to 6 months of, if emergency happens. And I'm also trying to save $18,000 on top of that. So that will be $18,000 plus emergency fund for me is at least $6,000. So I essentially need $24,000. And once I hit that, I'll be set. And I should definitely, I'm setting that goal for myself. Now at the end of this year, end of next year, at least have $24,000 in my account. So if worse comes to worse and I don't get those loans forgiven, I'm gonna just pay it off myself with the $18,000 and still have $6,000. And I have some friends who are like financially amazing and have so much in savings, but I'm not there. And that's okay. I still enjoy my life. I buy things I enjoy. I give, my own version of generously, and I'm fine with it.
Do you supplement your income in any way?
And I do. I work for the after school at the school that I work at, and it's actually really nice pay. So I get on average $300 or $280 after taxes to $400 extra a month. And that's nice after taxes, like that nice chunk of change on top of my regular salary. And there is also something called per session. So teachers can make $40 an hour after taxes. I think it's $56 or something before taxes. And that's just from doing extra work and, helping out with events or doing like extra writing or whatever. And my school tends to have a ton of opportunities for that. So I currently have a reoccurring guaranteed gig essentially where I can get up to $80 extra a month from doing that after taxes. So that's nice. It's like, my takeout, part of my takeout money right there just from doing extra work, but it's not guaranteed every year. And if school's out or with vacations and stuff, it obviously will be lower, sometimes 40, sometimes, well, I think 40 is the lowest, like sometimes 40 will be the lowest for the month. And in addition to that, I am actually currently working on trying to diversify my income a little bit more. I want to monetize my YouTube channel, even though ads don't make that much. I'm currently 60% of the way there for watch time. So if you want to watch my other videos and help me out, that'd be awesome because I would love to be monetized by the end of this year. And I've hit the subscriber threshold some time ago. I've like 1,000 over what I need, but I just need to get that watch time up. So hopefully I can be, more entertaining and engaging so I can, get to that level.
How much money does your district give you for supplies at the beginning of the year?
And my district does give us $250. That was something that the United Federation of Teachers fought for us to have. So I get $250 beginning of every year, and this is my 4th year full-time, 5th year in education overall. I did a teaching residency, and that has been enough for me. Obviously things pop up, but sometimes I'll get random emails saying, what books do you want? And they have a big library order and whatever. I think it would be harder if I taught in elementary. I teach high school, and I share classrooms, so I don't really need to decorate an entire room. I sometimes decorate just parts of it and use that sometimes for class materials for students, for special projects. But I am grateful for that amount, and I feel like it is just enough. It would be a little tougher if I had an entire classroom to myself and was expected to decorate that by myself.
Do you have additional deductions taken from your paycheck, retirement, union dues, etc.?
I do. I have $50 taken out every month from the U of T, United Federation of Teachers. That's our union. And I automatically have 3% taken out for retirement, and I just increased that technically to 10. My next paycheck's gonna be a little lower because I think it's gonna be 13% altogether. I'm putting 10% for retirement, and I'm also doing 3% for the other retirement account. So that will be a little tighter, but that's another reason why I'm trying to diversify my income. And yeah, that's another reason, because I'm gonna have to adjust to losing essentially 10% of my take-home pay.
Do you feel like your current salary is enough to meet ends meet and live comfortably?
For me, in year 5 on the pay scale, my residency counted towards my pay scale. My mom always raised me really positive, and being fully transparent, I make around $68,000, And it is a decent income, and within a couple of years, my income will go up a lot should I stay in teaching to like 6 figures, which I think would be a little bit more livable, a little bit more comfortable. I think that it is livable, definitely, but it is only livable because I made a lot of sacrifices. So I chose not to have a car, even though I would absolutely love to. I chose to have roommates and to find really inexpensive rent. And I think for those reasons, I'm able to enjoy small luxuries, and I'm able to go out to eat without feeling stressed, and I feel like I'm able to save without really worrying and have trips and do really fun things. But if I had a family, or let's say I was a single mom and I had to pay for an apartment by myself and food for a family, or even if I had a double income household and multiple children, or even one kid, I think it would be really difficult to say that I had like to live the quality of life I'm currently living. But my hope is that by the time I get married and have kids, my income would go up, which it should be going up, because I'm even working towards my plus 30 right now. So yeah, I would say, I wouldn't say my friends always say this, you don't get rich from going into teaching, but it could be comfortable. And yeah, I think that it's not currently the most comfortable. I think I'm okay because of the adjustments I made, but I know I have friends who are the breadwinners for their entire households, and they're on the same pay scale rank as me. And they have to make that work because, you know, maybe their husband doesn't work or whatever, and they have kids. And I think that everyone's situation is so different, and the income isn't so grand that regardless of that fact that you would be living so lavishly. It is something where as a single person with roommates, yeah, it's great. But in a different situation, I would 100% say that it would be a little bit hard.
Are there any financial goals that you are still working towards?
And like I mentioned earlier, I'm trying to save $24,000, and I know that I should start investing like much earlier. I think my retirement is my way of really investing while I'm still saving up money to pay off my loans. But my goal is to have $24,000 in my savings account, and a couple more in my checking account. I like to always have like $1,000, $2,000 in my checking account all times, but have that amount there so that I can pay off that loan if necessary. And if I don't need to pay it off, if it does get forgiven, then I want to put that into, I probably am going to actually try, I was asking some friends about high yield savings accounts, so I think I'm going to still take part of it and put it into a savings account, because I could just take it out. If I learn I can't get forgiveness, I might have to wait a little bit, but I can take that money out and at least it can earn some interest for me. So I guess one thing I am saving for is to eventually own property, and I would also love to save for a wedding. I just come from, like, the thing that really makes me not want to save for a wedding is I come from Indian culture, and it is so expensive, and the weddings are so extravagant, and I don't want to save $25,000 just for a wedding. You know, that's half of $50,000, and that would be a moderate wedding. And my parents do have money. I think they have $20,000, $30,000 saved for my future wedding, but I just don't want to spend that much money, you know? So yeah, I think mostly I'm just saving for a house, because I honestly would be happy with a courthouse wedding, but we'll see.
What is the biggest piece of financial advice that you would offer to someone considering teaching?
The biggest piece of advice I would say is to really consider cost of living and the state in which you are going to move to when you are considering whether or not to teach, because it is really rough out there, you know, depending on what state you're in. It could be an unlivable income. And I would also say that it's easy to have lifestyle inflation. So maybe part of the reason why I'm not entirely content is I do have very expensive taste and I like designer things and I can't really buy that. But if I choose not to, if I just buy like the mid-level range and I let myself be content with that, I would honestly be fine. So I think understanding that you're not gonna get rich, you're not gonna readily afford super extravagantly expensive things, but if you're fine with living in the middle, essentially, then it is a pretty nice job, and it has nice hours once you, depending on your role and once you figure things out. and have curriculum and lessons made. And there is something to consider when you consider the fact that we do work 10 months out of 12. So, and we get like a ton of vacations. Granted, we can't take them when we want to, but that's all something to keep in mind financially, because you can do something else during those 2 months. If assuming you work on a 12-month pay scale and only work 10 months of the year. But yeah, that's it. Those are my answers to these questions. Let me know in the comments down below if you were surprised or if anything stood out to you in particular. And I'll see you guys next week.